Now, when we first talked to you, back in 2004, you were this kid from Melbourne, and then suddenly it's all happening in the company of the esteemed Mr. Mark Ronson. Fill us in on the gap of how you got from Melbourne to London and how it all fell into place for you.
Well, I moved to, I met Mark years ago, as I was saying before, and he heard some of my demos. I flew over there and we just kept in contact, and I kept going to New York and back and forth from here to New York. He'd come over here, and then sort of as time went on, I ended up getting a deal over there. Clive Davis signed me to his label, J Records, and at that point I was like, well, I may as well sort of move to New York. So I moved there about 3 years ago and sort of just kind of, moved there pretty much just to sort of be in one place, so I could get the album finished. And I've been there ever since. So I'm kind of like, as much as I want to come back to Melbourne, at the same time, I just get so much done when I'm in New York. There's sort of an energy about the place that kind of like helps you sort of, helps your creative juices flow, I guess, and get stuff done. So I love it there.
Mm. When you were talking before about Harper Simon and Sean Lennon, Mark, of course, has a very much a pedigree in the music business too. The son of Mick Ronson from David Bowie's band, the stepson now of Mick Jones from Foreigner. Does he bring a heritage that you can fall back on when you're recording and working with him?
Yeah, to be honest, like all those kind of things are sort of like peripheral, really. Mark's quite talented as a DJ, and sort of, I guess we sort of just click really well as far as music goes. It's sort of like, I think I guess you got to remember that like at the time that we met, he wasn't really producing that much. He'd done the Nika Costa album, and he was sort of, I think he's got beats on a J Live album somewhere, and he then ended up working on his own album. But I guess when we met, he was sort of, starting out almost as a producer, and at the same time I was kind of starting out as a singer. So there's nothing better than kind of like, sort of growing at the same rate, and sort of doing, as an artist, you're always sort of like trying to find, trying to get better at what your craft is, I guess. And, and at the same time, I guess he was trying to get better at what he was doing. So to make an album at that kind of, juncture was kind of, a perfect timing, really.
Mm. And you've swapped roles as well too, because you were very instrumental in the creation of that debut album for Phrase too, weren't you?
Yeah, I co-produced that with Jan Skubachevsky, Jay Scoob, that was kind of, I kind of got like sort of, I was always like tapping out beats on an MPC back in Melbourne. Like that was sort of what I did almost for fun, as well as, just the jack of all trades mentality to sort of making independent music. It was like a lot easier to sort of make something yourself than try to find, someone else to do it, I guess. So, but yeah, I want to get back into production. I think it's sort of like, I think there's a lot of stuff I want to sort of do on the second album. Probably making beats could definitely come into that,